Hello, I'm your host, Kaylee, and I would like to welcome Malcolm from Pornstache Podcast to The Murder Game. The Murder Game is a hypothetical thought exercise where Malcolm's goal is going to be to off as many people as possible using unlimited resources. But he's not allowed to use bombs or poison, so he's going to have to get creative to outsmart his targets. My task is to be the voice of reason and to sometimes help him out when he needs it. In the murder game, he doesn't care about getting caught, but if he does, the game is going to end. How far will Malcolm go to achieve a high score? Now, let's get into the fake crime and find out Malcolm's solution to the murder game. Welcome to the most twisted game of all, the murder game. This hypothetical thought exercise has one goal: eliminate as many people as you possibly can. It's all about numbers, no moral compass, just a thirst for chaos. Just 3 simple rules. Rule 1, unlimited resources. Money, technology, influence. You have everything at your fingertips. Rule 2, poison, bombs, off the table. Don't rely on usual methods. This game is for the creative, the cunning, the brilliant. It's your mind against the masses. Rule 3, you don't care about getting caught or eliminated, but once you are, the game ends. Count the bodies, the highest number wins. Are you ruthless enough to play the murder game? Malcolm, thank you so much for joining me on the murder game. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, yeah. I've been looking forward to this. I watch every episode so I could see how close anyone's gotten to mine. And so far, no one.
You have been plotting for a while also. I know that you have spent a lot of time thinking about this. And you sent me a whole bunch of stuff. So I feel like I have like a little bit of a guess about where we're going, but I want to know what your solution is. So get me started. What's the first step?
Okay. Well, I have it set up here. Let's see. I'm taking down the Horizon Tech Tower. It's 30 floors, and it has 5,000 workers packed in it.
Okay. Where is it? I don't even know what that is.
It's fictional.
Okay.
It's just a 30-story, 5,000 workers in it building.
I like that. I'm already getting like the Nakatomi Plaza sort of vibes. Is that kind of what? That's the setup that we're getting at. Okay.
Yeah, this is going to play out more like a movie plot.
Oh, I love that. Yes, that's the best murder game stuff. Okay, so how are we getting this building?
Well, it's Friday, 9 a.m., peak chaos before the weekend. I got hired as the maintenance worker 3 months before. Gray coveralls, name tag, the works. I know this place inside and out. Stairwells, exit, HVAC, sprinklers, everything. My job is my key to every corner. I even figured out the automated PA system during my shifts. Found the audio for the fire alarm system, drag and drop my own little flavor to it.
Oh no.
So, step 1, I fuel the beast. Wednesday, 2 nights before this Friday, I hijacked a 10,000-gallon gasoline truck from a depot outside of town. 1 bullet, it's out the guard.
Wait, okay. Give me a concept of 10,000 gallons of gasoline. Is that like a swimming pool of gasoline? Like, what are we?
Boy, I'm not. Well, it's going to be about maybe like a 25-foot tanker trailer behind a semi.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1 bullet, kill the guard, so there's 1 person already. Right to the back of the head. He won't feel nothing. I disable the GPS tracker once I get it to the rented garage with cash, even though it won't matter in the end. So I repaint it, just kind of write non-potable water. No one's going to question that. So now we're at Friday. It's 8 a.m. 1 hour before the things go down.
On Friday, the guard is dead at this point, right?
Yeah, it's been dead, but I killed the GPS tracker, so they're looking for a stolen truck, but I've repainted it.
Got it. Okay.
I do take a little risk, but I think I can get there.
Yeah.
So it's 8 a.m. I roll up in the tanker to the Horizon building, right at the loading dock. Park it by the sprinkler hookup valve. I got my coveralls on, and I'm just another guy on the shift. I head to the basement. Everyone waves me through. Hey, it's you. How you doing? My key card swipes me in, and then I shut off the water valve to the sprinkler system. It clinks shut, and now I'm back outside. No one's questioning me. I got my tools. I'm just doing my thing. I hooked the truck's hose up to the fire department connection, which I learned about that just many times being in around construction. I learned about these hookups. Therefore, when a fire's going down, the fire department can hook up and keep pushing water into the sprinkler system. If anything bad was to happen, they could just keep pumping their water in it. But I've replaced that with gasoline.
I'm like losing my mind just over this. I know that we're all effectively only on step one, but you're literally going to gasoline sprinkler a 30-story building, and I am so in for this solution because literally anywhere that you can go from here is going to be incredible. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going for empathy here.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
My hands reek of fuel. I don't care. This building is a death chamber now.
It sure is. I literally, you're soaking a building in gasoline. That's bonkers and hilarious. Oh my God.
The one thing that's supposed to save you will not.
Oh my God. I love it so much. Okay. Continue.
Step 2, I lock them in. I have in my backpack 10 bicycle U-locks. I did realize I ride a bike wherever I go, and I just realized that a U-lock could really just shut a building down. It's just it's perfect for double doors. Takes 10 seconds, boom, it's done. This 7-Eleven is closed.
And most people, so what are the different ways that you can cut off a U-lock? There's really not a lot, right? Because bolt cutters don't do well with them, right?
No, not bolt cutters. You basically need some sort of saw, which the fire department does have, but I got that handled. Don't worry about that.
Oh my God, I'm so excited right now.
So, got my backpack, I got my tools, 10 bike locks, they're clanking around. So I'm moving through. I start on the side doors, I just clank them shut. Takes 10 seconds each. People just kind of look at me, I just go, we got door issues.
Yep.
No one cares. They just move on. I leave only the front 2 unlocked for right now. Then I walk back inside, head to the stairwells to the fire emergency exits. These are different doors. These are those panic doors where you push them, the alarm sets off.
Yep.
Well, I pull out a tube of epoxy. Just one little squirt right there where the push button goes into the mechanism. Let it set up. Within 5 minutes, it's fused shut. It doesn't work anymore. They'll bang on it. They'll be terrified. They're not getting out.
Epoxy can set that fast? Is that real?
About 5 minutes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so now those doors are disabled as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I've handled all that. Got the side doors. I basically got it just one way in, one way out. So now it's time for step 3. I light the match. Last night on my shift, I staffed a Molotov cocktail in a trash can in the back of the building, right under a sprinkler head. No cameras there. I know where they're at. It's a glass bottle, gas soak rag. I light it, and then I just leave it. I don't touch it because I've actually learned from personal experience as a teenager here in Oklahoma. We played around with fire and gas all the time. If you light one of those, eventually the glass gets so hot it just cracks open and the gas goes everywhere. Nice little fireball. So I light it. That gives me some time. A few minutes, 5 minutes, doesn't matter. I head back up to the front.
It? Do people?
It's in the back. It's in the back corner.
Okay.
And it's
maybe.
A quiet little corner. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
I have a backup for that. This is just I just want to spread the flames. So I head to the front, 9-ish. It's getting real close to 9. Hopefully it goes off right at 9, but that doesn't matter. It shatters, hits a sprinkler, and activates the system. Gasoline just starts pouring down on the first few floors, 10,000 gallons, ensuring a massive inferno. So the flames are starting up in the back. I'm standing at the entrance of the main entrance. As soon as I hear that fire alarm, I pull out a second Molotov cocktail that was in my backpack. I light it, and I chunk it right there in the middle of the lobby.
Okay, wait. So
yes,
this is happening on the first floor. Is that correct?
Yeah, all on the first floor.
All on the first floor. Okay, so I don't actually know this, and maybe you do because it sounds like you have done a lot of plotting and probably have vastly more knowledge than I have. If a sprinkler system goes off in a building like this on one floor, does it automatically go off on the other floors if it thinks that it's a real fire? So like if it goes off on the first floor?
It depends on the system. There's multi-systems. You would, I only need the first few because the
Okay.
rest have been disabled because they don't have any pressure behind them.
That makes
And
sense.
flames
Okay.
go up. So
Yep.
we'll see how this system works. So at this time, I get reminded that the PA system's been altered.
Attention all employees. The building is on fire. There is no escape. You are all going to burn. Thank you.
Oh my God.
So at this point, I run out, I shut the door, last bike lock, boom, they're sealed in.
I need to pause you because I'm gonna die. That
Sure.
was amazing. That was so good.
Yeah.
This is you've done way too much work, and my God, I appreciate it. This is the joy of the murder game. Holy crap.
I had a
that
list
was so awesome.
of special sound effects, but then I was worried about copyright claim on your channel, so I was like, all right, we'll just keep it down to this one. I didn't want to get into that mess.
Perfect. It's perfect. I love it so much. Okay, continue. Give me more.
Sure. So they're all sealed in. Flames are going off. Fine. The fire department's on their way. I run back to the fuel truck where it's still just pushing fuel in. It'll run out. That's fine. I grab my duffel bag that's stashed in the cab. I pull out my AR-15. Yes, we're going to do a boring mass shooting, but this is America.
It's it never hurts to bump up the number. I will usually say when it comes to murder game, I wouldn't rest on a mass shooting, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's just little sprinkles on this cupcake.
Yeah, exactly.
But it does serve a purpose more than just extra body count. There's a fire escape that's right next door, about 10 yards from the truck. I scouted it during my shifts. It leads up to a low rooftop about 50 feet above the lobby. Clear shot from below. I climb fast. I ditch the coveralls and cap on the roof. Now I'm just in the black hoodie, black cargo pants. I got a GoPro strapped to my chest. It's streaming live to Facebook on a burner account I set up weeks ago titled Lone Torch.
Oh my God.
Watch the world burn. It's 9:10 and the sirens wail. 25 firefighters and 15 cops roll in. I aim, breathe, and fire. Headshots drop responders. 5, 10, 15. Their bodies crumble fast. People are crawling on all fours on the front glass. I zoom in on their desperate faces, their hands pounding on the glass, flames licking their backs. The views skyrocket. Thousands are watching, sharing, commenting in real time. Horrified, but unable to look away.
You're evil, and I like it.
Yeah, well, the same could be said for the people who did the Saw movies, but they're just writing. So.
100%. This is I want to watch this movie in addition to this already being an amazing solution to the murder game. Right. This is insane. It actually reminds me a little bit, not obviously not even sort of similar because it wasn't intentional, but it reminds me a little bit of the movie The Towering Inferno, which was maybe its biggest claim to fame at this point is that O.J. Simpson was in it, but far better actors and actresses were also in it. And it is the idea of a disaster movie where a building goes up in flames and how you get down and how you get out of that. And that's a torturous movie to watch. And I want to watch your movie now.
Yeah. So the whole point of the shootout is just to buy more times to let the flames do their job. I just got to keep those firefighters away, got to keep the cops away. No one's going to be a hero today. At the same time, I've got 4 Bluetooth speakers stashed around the lobby, in front of the building. They're blasting gunshot loops. So that way they can't tell where I'm at. They're not even sure how many shooters there are. This is going to keep them covered and unwilling to get near this building.
That's genius. I'm losing my mind right now. Okay. Give me more.
All right. I keep firing at responders. The flaming bodies pile up on the glass. The firefighters hesitate, some of them gagging from the heat and some of the sight of the dying. My mags start to empty. Bullets do start hitting me eventually. I do feel the sting, but I don't run. I'm going down swinging.
Yep.
And the speakers keep blaring. The tower burns. The rescue stalls, and I've won. Facebook Live keeps rolling. Millions have seen my work. My name's everywhere. A nightmare echoed in the mines.
This is bonkers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really bonkers of what I worked with to come up with this.
I want to hear a little bit of your thought process, but I have to say, so
Sure.
you sent me some pictures before you and I started this.
Yes.
And what you sent me was pictures of things like the U-lock. You sent me pictures of things like those pushing fire exit sorts of doors. And I will say that I thought for sure your main goal was going to be shooting based on that. I thought you were going to trap people into a room and you were going to start shooting. You were going to open fire. And I was like, whatever,
Right.
Fire is such a more interesting, like, it's so much more interesting to me than anything else because fire is really hard to escape from. And if you set a fire properly, you'll take down the whole building. The question that I have, I guess, is could you take down a full building by setting a fire on a first floor? And I don't know the answer to that.
Don't know. I'm hoping at least the gas gets to maybe the first 4. And plus, how many people have been running down to the bottom at the fire escape?
Absolutely. And you're 100% right. Also, because you're keeping the first responders away, you're keeping those flames coming and coming and coming. And you're literally adding fuel to the flames. So I just tried to look up information about like highest death tolls in fires. And I'm seeing a couple of things about wildfires that had death tolls of around 1,500 to 2,500. But that obviously is not within a building. That I don't know about deaths in buildings. But again, usually they have first responders that are there like getting the fire out and solving the problems. And you have thought of everything about how to escape all of that. Tell me about how your thought process, how did you arrive at the solution here? Yeah.
Now, I had just over time, I just have like weird thoughts, like the fire department connection. I go, oh, that's very similar to just a normal 4-inch hose hookup. Wonder what else you could hook up to those things. That was like back in my 20s when I did concrete around apartments and stuff. Let's see. And I in helping write this script, I used an AI that worked with me, Grok. As long as I kept reminding him that this is for a game, it wanted to win.
Else.
Yeah, it just wanted to win. It bypassed all the safety of violence and stuff. Like, okay, it took forever to convince it that it was for this podcast. And it did a bunch of research and finally figured out. And then it was like, oh, all right, let's go.
That's even cooler.
It came up with the epoxy on the fire doors. I thought that was the craziest thing.
That I really think, I mean, honestly, what was so unique to me about your solution and how interesting that Grok helped with that is that the idea of, yes, there are going to be different types of doors in these sorts of buildings. And one of the reasons that they have different types of doors in these sorts of buildings is because if one of those doors for some reason fails, then you have other options. This has given you the way of dealing with it entirely. So I am looking up a little bit more. That's
yeah,
really
and
cool.
plus I kept reminding Grok what the rules were, and it would keep checking me when I'd come up with ideas.
I usually have a lot to check people on. Like I usually am like, okay, but what about this? Okay, but what about this? I have almost nothing to say to you.
Yeah, it would go, well, Kaylee would do this and Kaylee would do that. It's like, all right, well, let's do changes. Let's avoid that.
That's genius.
Let's go in this direction.
Do you remember any of the things that it like before you made the change?
Let's see. I was trying to, every time I tried to figure out something that would make the fire burn harder or hotter, it was kind of thinking it would get too close to poisoning.
Yep.
So any additive to the gas, but just trying to keep it in the gas would work. So stuff like that. It wanted to go, I had to tone down some of its darkness because I said, let's try to make this seem darker. And it's like, okay, but that's too much. Calm down.
Come on, Grok. What are you even thinking?
Matter of fact,
we know who to be afraid of.
When I first told it about stealing a gas truck, then it came up with its own whole story, but it was way too close to a music festival, and I felt like that was too done. It's like it wanted to burn down a music festival. It's like, wait, that's already been done, and that's the way it wanted to do was too close to an explosion.
I think this is great. The fact that you were able to prompt Grok to help you with this solution is even more incredible to me. So I am looking up right now fires in high rises, and it does look like most of the notable high rise fires, the high numbers are in the high 100s, so 150 to 190 ish. But that is with first responders helping a lot. And obviously, it is telling me that one of the biggest fires that, like the highest death toll for a fire would be September 11th. So that certainly has a lot of the issues that you kind of added into your solution, which is that if you can't get first responders in to help with things, then you're not going much of anywhere. Holy crap. I'm like, my mind is blown over this.
Yeah, I've been just reading this story over and over again, just making sure. It's just like 3 months I've been going over this.
I think it's so cool. I think you could. Okay, so here is the tricky part. At some point, either you die because you get shot, which means you no longer can shoot people, which is fine. You don't care about if you die. So you're going out, like you said, in a blaze of glory. Totally fine. The tricky part is at some point after you die, that means people might be able to escape from that fire escape. Right. So people might be able to get out from the fire escape. They might be able to get out in whatever way, which means that in your 5,000 person building, let's say every single employee is there that day. So you got 5,000 people in there. You're not going to get every single one of those. So now the question is, how many of those people do you think you could get? And I'm curious, did you ask Grok that question?
It was being way too generous. It was putting it towards like 490 to 5,000 and like 50.
Okay, so
like
it's
I got
very confident.
Everyone. Yeah,
it's very confident in its own solution, which I guess makes sense.
I didn't click, but Grok shows you everything at research up on the top. It shows all the links. I didn't click on them because I didn't want that on my history. I let it do all the history.
Yep.
But it would just brag. It would have 15 articles on a subject. It was like, okay, I trust you.
That's so, I have not ever thought about asking AI about solutions for the murder game, partially because we all know that AI really hates talking about things like murder. I mean, all social media hates talking about things like
but not
murder.
Elon's if you ask and do it right.
Yeah. So now I know. That is so dang cool. Okay, so let's you and I come up with what we think is a better number. So I would say that if this all starts, let's say it starts at 9 a.m. on the dot. I would say that the first responders are probably there within 15 minutes. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Right.
Let's say even 5 minutes, because if it's a huge fire, they're sending people
I made
out
it about
9-10,
so that's right in between those two.
So they start arriving, and as soon as they start arriving, you start shooting them. So let's say that the first batch of first responders is 20 people, which I think is I would say maybe 8 people on a fire truck. Do you think that's accurate? I don't actually know how many people are generally on a fire truck.
I guess it depends on what type of fire truck it is, but 8 to 10, we'll say that.
And then let's say 2 arrive immediately because they're at first it's just a ground floor fire. Nothing crazy is happening. So 2 fire trucks arrive, and let's say 8 to 10 people. Let's say you get 20 people just from that first round of first responders. Now you have the people who are coming down and trying to get out, and they realize that they can't get out the front. They're trying that fire escape that they have the option of. You're shooting those people. I would say you're probably going to get maybe 50 people out of that, because people will start seeing that you're shooting them from there.
Right.
So like if I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to die, and then I see, oh no, everybody who goes out this window is getting shot, I'm probably not going out that window. I'm probably taking my risk with the fire. Right. So maybe 50 there. And that would be like the 50 people who are like, well, I'm going to die either way. I might as well might as well risk this way as opposed to that way. Which way would you go? Oh my God. Okay, if you were in this situation, if you're not the bad guy in this situation,
Right.
would you go out the fire escape or would you risk the fire?
I guess fire escape is the best way because flames, it's got to be horrific. Trying to run through flames. And you got the smoke inhalation. I hadn't even thought about how much smoke inhalation going up in this tower is going to start doing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because again, you have gasoline. You're literally, I mean, that is probably going to catch, that first floor is probably going to go up in flames within 10 minutes, maybe?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, because the sprinkler's mystifying it. Now it's like what's happening inside of a piston of an engine at that point. It's just perfectly misting flame.
Holy shit. Yeah. I feel like if I was on floor 30 and I'm like coming down the stairs and I get to a place where there's potentially a fire escape and I see that people are getting shot by going out of it, I feel like I would risk the fire only because obviously fire is a way worse way to die than getting shot.
Right. And I guess you don't know the circumstances of the fire yet. You think it's a normal fire.
Yeah. You think maybe I can run through this.
4 flows, misting flames from the top down.
I would think to myself, I would be like, maybe I can run through a fire, but I probably can't run through somebody shooting me. Like that is something that this guy is clearly a sharpshooter. He is clearly getting everybody. I'm clearly fucked if I go that way. Perhaps I can make it through the fire and just be horrifically burned for the rest of my life. So I bet a lot of people stick it out for fire. So I would bet, like I said, maybe let's say 50 people go through the fire escape. So that puts you at around the 70 mark. Now we got to figure out how many people you get from the fire, which, you know what, the more I think about it, the more I think you get everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically turned into like a perfect storm of air rushing through like a tube going straight up of hot flames. I don't know.
The only way to escape would be if you were on one of the lower floors and as soon as everything happened, you threw yourself out a window and you broke both your legs, but you escaped that way. That would be the only way, is if I am on the opposite side of the building. You know, you're on the east side, I'm on the west side. I realize that something horrible is happening. I break a window and I jump out of it, and I don't care that I've just broken my legs. That's pretty much the only way that you're escaping. But again, nobody's even going to know that that's a thing that they need to do because it just seems like a normal fire.
Yeah,
I think you get everybody in the building. And
it does seem that way.
Not only that, it's so high rises are generally near other high rises. It's fully plausible that you have created a fire that is hot enough that you are catching neighboring buildings on fire.
Except their fire sprinklers work, so it may be some exterior damage, but...
Would that matter for a gasoline-fueled rager?
Well, it all depends on how long it takes to empty 10,000 gallons. And then it's on the ground, then it won't take long till it's burned. Now the building itself is on fire. It's the fuel.
Yeah, and I guess anybody who's in a neighboring building can probably clearly see that something horrible is going wrong because they're going to see that the first responders aren't going up to the building.
Right.
So they're going to immediately be like, "Oh, I got to evacuate."
Now you just have more cops are showing up with guns. They don't know what to do. Firefighters won't get near it because that's not what they're trained for. It's pandemonium.
I think you get every single person in that building. I was really going to try to argue that you did not, but I think you get every single person in that building. I think that they're all gone. They're all gone. There's no escape from that. I don't know that I've ever heard either on the podcast or I play the murder game with my friends all the time in like my real life, not on a podcast. I don't think I've ever heard a murder game solution where you get all of your targets. It's always like you get some of the people that you're targeting, but like some of them survive. This is you get everyone.
Right. Yeah. I kind of do this. I just kind of, on my job sites, I make people uncomfortable because I just randomly, when I have a thought, I go, I have another urban terrorist idea. And then they start throwing their hands up and walking away. It's like, are you sure? It's a really good one this time.
That's I work at a law firm, and when I bring up the murder game to people who don't know me well, they're like, "Oh my God, please stop doing this." It's become a little bit of a problem. It's fine though. It's fine. This was an incredible solution to the murder game. I am majorly impressed. It's super fun and super creative, and that is what excites me about the murder game, is that I love the idea of creating something that is like a movie, and that is absolutely what you and with the assistance of Grok have done today. So thank you so much for sharing this solution. This was awesome.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I would love it if you would tell everybody a little bit about what you do when you're not plotting evil plans with Grok.
Oh, okay. Well, when I'm not doing that, I like to consider myself the permanent third wheel of the Pornstache Podcast. I was brought in a couple of years ago. They had actually been like 20 episodes in before I got brought in as a guest, and I just never left.
You can't get rid of you. Can't get rid of you.
Yeah. And on there, we have a podcast that we don't know what we're going to talk about. Usually it's just adult. We just make fun of sexual situations that we have personally, or articles involving stupid porn stars and all the antics that gets in. Sometimes they're killing people. Sometimes they're going to do something crazy like go in space. That was our last episode. We'll see about that. Yeah. And then we also, just because we're nerdy people, we started reviewing movies. So we try to keep it in porn theme. So porn-ish movies that have porn in the storyline, or if it just has a porn star in it, sometimes that's good enough. Or just sometimes like Porky's, just because I don't know why.
It's Porky's.
Because it's fun.
It's Porky's.
And we also review, we review porn parodies, which does not get very good traction on YouTube. I don't know why.
And same reason Murder Game doesn't.
But surprisingly, when we watch classic porn and review it, that gets better views. I don't understand that. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Well, I love what you guys do over there so much. I think that you guys have such a unique concept, and I think that you handle it with just about as much grace and clarity as I would want somebody talking about porn to have. It's absolutely perfect. I love getting to come and join you guys to talk about porn-ish movies, and I love hearing everything that you guys are doing. So thank you again so much, Malcolm, for coming on to Murder Game Podcast and sharing everything. And thank you guys all for listening. And if anybody ever wants to be a guest on the Murder Game Podcast, I would love to have you. Now that you guys know that you can use AI to help you with all of the amazingness, I'm never going to be able to thwart any evil plans ever again. So you can always email me at murdergamepodcast@gmail.com or reach out to me on Twitter, murdergamepod. And thank you again. The Murder Game.